Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope you are having a fantastic day. We got to do it, folks. We got to dig in to Geno Auriemma, see how well his comment aged. Just the other day in the video I did on Pat McAfee and what he said about Caitlin Clark and not being allowed to talk about her. And I went back to the Geno video and we talked about how the end, just that part about him and Pat McAfee and how he was, I think, purposefully misunderstanding what Pat was saying. And in a video I did way back, kind of when this came out, focused on what he was saying about the Caitlin Clark fans and how disrespectful he was being and the words he was using to describe all of her fans. But in this video, we're going to focus specifically on his comments about Caitlin Clark as a basketball player. Because now, obviously, we have a little more in terms of what Caitlin Clark was capable of in just her rookie year. And for some reason, I guess for that reason, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter bringing this back up, resharing, reposting this video of Geno. So I kept seeing it so many times. I'm like, all right, I got to do another video on this because I went back and watched the whole thing, and it really is insane. And so we're not going to go through the whole thing. Like this first minute and a half was just him blasting the Caitlin Clark fans and about how they're disrespecting the WNBA players and they're insane and stupid. He called all of you stupid. Let's see how not stupid Geno is. So let's take a listen. We're going to dig right into what he's saying about Caitlin Clark and how, by the way, how smart Diana Taurasi was with her whole reality is coming statement. So here we go. We're going to take a little bit of a listen to Geno, our buddy, our pal, our friend, the super duper awesome coach at Connecticut that could only win because women's basketball was in its infancy in terms of popularity, and he had all the five-star recruits.
And Diana said it best. This kid's in for a rude awakening. And they all jumped over her, but they didn't read the whole thing that she said. But nobody's printing. You know, Diana Taurasi was right.
Wait, what was that, Geno? Did you say Diana Taurasi was right? That reality is coming for Caitlin Clark? Really? Okay, we'll keep going. We'll circle back to that, as they say.
This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie.
She's on the wrong team. They're in the playoff hunt. They are 13-15. They're 12-7 since that disastrous start where they didn't really get any training time. Caitlin coming right from the college season. They had 11 games in 20 days. They played 8 of those 11 against the top 3 teams in the league. The Fever were trying to learn each other and what they do. There was a whole lot of stuff going on. And since that 1-8 start, they're 12-7. And as Sue Bird said just the other day, as a Seattle Storm owner, she does not want to see the Indiana Fever in the playoffs. Now, skill set. Wow. Skill set. Really? She leads the WNBA in assists. She set the single game assist record already with 19. She had 5 13-plus assist games, including 4 in a row, which had never been done before. Don't even get me started on the physicality stuff. Caitlin is not small, and she is not weak. She's 6 foot, 155 pounds of muscle with abs, Geno, something I don't think you've ever had. But we're going to dig in a little more of what she's done after listening to a bit more of this from Geno.
And if you're a WNBA player, if you're any kind of player, you're going to say, I'm going to make a statement. Targeted by society, targeted by her looks, targeted by her reputation, targeted by the disrespect that they've shown to the WNBA. There's a huge target on this kid's back. I thought Cameron Brink said something really smart. She said, no, they're expecting this rookie class to be perfect. This rookie class isn't even one of the best rookie classes in the last 10 years.
Not one of the best rookie classes in the past 10 years. Now, that was a little bit off topic with the whole targeting thing, but I didn't want to fool around with skipping it and waste your time. And I wanted to catch that part about the rookie class thing in general, because this just goes to how delusional Geno Auriemma is. He's not just delusional about Caitlin Clark. He's not just an awful human being for the things he said about the Caitlin Clark fan base. He is an insecure little child. And the reason he says this is not the best rookie class in the past 10 years is, why do you think it is? Where did these top players go to school? By the way, and again, I give credit where credit's due. Angel Reese may very well win the rebounding title. She may very well set a legit record, because I'm not a fan of that whole double-double thing with rebound. She is, look, I don't like anything else about her game, okay? So, again, this goes to being fair, because people are like, oh, you hate on Angel Reese, and other people, no. She is a rebounding machine. I don't like anything else about her game, but she is a rebounding machine. Camila Cardoso is a better basketball player than Angel Reese. Rickea Jackson is a better basketball player than Angel Reese. And I don't say that right now to knock Angel Reese. My point being, and look, Cameron Brink was off to a great start and got hurt. And I think, I didn't check the number before this video because I didn't even know I was going to say this, but she's still up there in blocks. She's not going to qualify in terms of blocks per game because she didn't play enough, but she may even be first in that, but she's up there in total blocks. I mean, Cameron Brink was having a very good start to her rookie season before she got hurt. And of course, we all know what Caitlin Clark is doing. So to sit here, but where did those players go to school? Does anybody know? Does anybody know? Are they UConn players? They are not. In fact, UConn players, are they, Geno? And that is what this is all about for you. Because you are over. You are going to be forgotten because you just happen to be in the right place at the right time. And you brought on all the best talent because, again, there wasn't a lot of it out there back when Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi and these players played. And so all the best players, and I will give you credit for this, you must have been a heck of a salesperson. You got all the best players to Connecticut. There weren't enough great players to go around the way there is in the men's game. And now that has shifted. And the truth of the matter is, you're not that great of a coach. Let me put it to you another way, Geno. Reality is coming. And the reality is, you're really not that great of a coach. You just had great players. And thank God you did not want Caitlin Clark. By the way, for those who say Caitlin Clark said no to Geno, no, Geno couldn't recognize Caitlin Clark as a talent, and he did not want her. And thank God he didn't, because we never would have gotten the Caitlin Clark we have today, because Geno was incapable of coaching in a way that would have allowed Caitlin Clark to flourish and become the player that she has become, the way Lisa Bluder did, the way Bluder stepped back, got her ego out of the way and said, hey, I've got this generational talent that plays this way, and we are going to build around that, and we are going to let her flourish. Never would have happened in Connecticut under this fool. Absolutely not. That was a little longer of a segment than I was intending, and I apologize, and we'll get back to this Geno video.
But they've been put out to be that.
Again, they're pretty good.
Because the way social media is today. So what kind of impact is this rookie class having in the WNBA?
I think I just answered that question. A big one.
How do you think Clark is handling this?
I think she's handling great. I think she talks a lot of and she gets a lot of back. So she deserves everything she gets because she gives it as good as she gets it.
She deserves everything she gets. Does that include the Kennedy Carter hit? Does that include the blatant blows to the head all of the time that are not normal fouls? Does that include Angel Reese trying to remove her head from the rest of her body? Does she deserve that, Geno, just out of curiosity?
She's just not built for the physicality of this league.
Yeah.
And she's not quick enough to get away from the physicality.
She is not built for the physicality of this league, and she is not quick enough to get away from the physicality of this league. Okay, so are we missing the way Caitlin Clark gets to the basket? Are we missing the fact that she dogged Kalia Copper, this great 1v1 defender, put her on a string, got to the bucket and the foul, has done that over and over again as her game has evolved in the WNBA, that she is beating players consistently off the dribble. They cannot guard her 1v1. If she wants to get to the bucket, she gets to the bucket. If not, she pulls up and she shoots. And she makes defenders fall down, Geno. But she's not quick enough, right? She doesn't have the skill set. I think you have to have a little bit of skill to lead the league in assists. I could be wrong, but I think you do need a little bit of skill to lead the WNBA in assists. And I think this is the end of the clip in terms of what he said, so I want to dig into a little more about that, but I just want to make sure. I think he goes into the Pat McAfee part here.
So there's a lot of learning curve, like Diana said. And
a lot of learning curve, folks. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
When she gets it, she has elite skills that are going to really help her.
You just said at the beginning of this clip that she did not have the skill set for the WNBA. Wow.
Yeah,
but she needs to be on a better. She needs to be on a better team, and she needs to be more experienced, and that will come. But
a better team. She needs to be on a better team. It's funny because what we've seen is the Indiana Fever, who won only 13 games all of last year, went 13-27, won 5 games the year before that. Now that they're figuring it out and they're figuring out how to play as a team. And I thought about doing a video on this if I get the chance, because it's fascinating, because I'm seeing more and more of this on Twitter, is now, because they keep shifting, right? If you're watching all my videos over time, how they keep shifting about Caitlin Clark and what they keep trying to pick at new things. And when that doesn't work, they pick at something else. And now the narrative they're putting out there is that the Indiana Fever were good. They were always good. It's not Caitlin Clark. The Indiana Fever are a super team. Yes, folks. I actually saw that on Twitter multiple times. The Indiana Fever, Caitlin's not that good, but the Indiana Fever are a super team. So which is it, Geno? They're not good enough. She needs to be on a better team. Or is it now, would you also say that they are a super team? And by the way, for that, because the season was going on, let's not forget, for all the people who talk about her struggling, and look, obviously she's getting better and better, but I would expect any good young player to be getting better and better. That's just normal. But to that point of her struggle, and this to me shows how good she is, and also how much they tried to push a narrative of her not being that good, despite the issues with teammates not knowing how to play with her and some freezing her out and not being able to catch passes and not making layups and having the wrong coach. And that schedule that was insane at the beginning of the season. Despite all of that, Caitlin Clark became the fastest player, not rookie, fastest player in WNBA league history to record 200 or more points, 75 more rebounds, 75 or more assists in her first 15 games. So I don't have the number of what the record was before that, but she did it faster. She did that 200 points, 75 rebounds, 75 assists in 15 games. Pretty nice skill set. And for that reality, because he mentioned her not doing what Diana Taurasi has done, Caitlin Clark is a rookie, currently averaging over 17 points, 17.8, over 5 rebounds, 5.8, and over 8 assists, 8.3. If she can maintain that for the season, she will be the first and the only player in WNBA history to average a stat line of 17 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists. The only, you know what that means, Geno? Because your IQ I'm worried about, so I will explain it to you. Those are better numbers in her rookie season than Diana Taurasi has ever achieved. Ever achieved. And if I have it here to show you, I don't know if you can read this, that's kind of small, but the numbers used here, because these just are her exact numbers that she has. I have in here, give me all the WNBA players in the regular season who have recorded at least 497 points, 161 rebounds, 232 assists, 39 steals, and 24 blocks. One player came up. One. Caitlin Clark. 12 games to go, folks. 12 games to go. So let's go back. Where's my Geno? I've got 4,000 tabs open. I just want to make sure. I think there might be another part with Paige. So I want to get into that. I'm sorry. Don't mind me. I read the number wrong on the time. I thought
But
we
for
had less
these
time.
ridiculous fans who had her slotted as the next Diana now, they're out of their mind.
Oh, fantastic. I should have let this go, but that kind of works better. Did I not just say she already is having a rookie year better than any year Diana Taurasi has ever had? Diana Taurasi has never averaged 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 8 assists. Wow, that was great. Good for me. I wish I'd done that on purpose and realized, because that was awesome. Oh, Geno, you sad, sad little man.
And for these people that are waiting outside the bus for the Chicago Sky team.
Yeah, let's skip that a little bit because we know that was ridiculous.
Said she was coming back. You said what?
So this is about Paige, by the way.
I said I knew that. She's having too good a time here. Her impact here is so great. Her impact nationally is great. And she doesn't want to be known as the greatest player ever to play at UConn without winning a national championship. And I remind her that every day.
Oh, but that's because you're such a great coach, Geno. You just got all those national championships. You all remember the video I did where I had listed all the top WNBA draft picks that played with Diana Taurasi at UConn? That is how unbelievably, including Sue Bird, by the way, unbelievably ridiculously loaded his rosters used to be.
Does she have the build to play in the WNBA?
No.
Okay.
But her game is different. Her game is different than Caitlin's in that she's more of just a distributor, get the ball. You know, her game is more like Sue Bird's game. All right? And not that Sue had the physicality to play in that league, but obviously she's the best point guard ever. But I think her game, the subtleties of her game will translate. However, her rookie year, she will get it as bad as Caitlin's getting it right now.
All right, now I know we're going to go into the Pat thing. And I was wondering as I was talking, I'm like, wait, did he say that Paige stuff yet? So Paige has it. She has a better skill set than Caitlin Clark for handling the WNBA. She's a distributor. If you caught how he was saying that, she's better than Caitlin Clark as a passer. Caitlin Clark, who led the NCAA 3 years in a row in assists. Caitlin Clark, who currently leads the WNBA in assists with 8.3 per game, who owns now the single season WNBA assist record with 19, who has 5, which I believe is a record. Correct me if I'm wrong below, but I believe the 5 games of 13 plus assists that she has is a record. The 4 in a row is a record. She had 4 games in a row of 13 assists. As to Sue Bird being the greatest point guard of all time, I will say yes. I mean, obviously, we're not going to say someone in their first season is that. But again, I'm going back to the point of Geno saying that Caitlin Clark doesn't have the skill set or the physicality for the league. Sue Bird never averaged 17, 8, and 5, ever. Now, of course, Caitlin Clark has to do this for a full-on, 10, 12, 13-year career. So please don't give me in the comments about, oh my God, how can you say she's the best point guard ever? Not what I'm saying. My point being, Geno is dismissing Caitlin Clark, saying she doesn't have the skills for the WNBA. And I'm comparing what she's already done in her first season to these players that are, UConn players that Geno thinks are so damn good. One other thing I do want to point out, because I know this has gotten long, and oh man, I hope you're all still here and having a good time and enjoying this a little bit. But I'm going to do a longer deep dive into the whole MVP stuff going on, because a lot has changed since the last one I did. And I find it fascinating that I think I did my first Caitlin's in the MVP talks early July. And right now, finally, after these 2 post-Olympic games, we got other people saying, hey, you know what? Maybe she's in the MVP conversation. I say, thank you. Welcome aboard. Better late than never. And we really do appreciate that. But one thing I want to just leave you with that I'm going to go into more detail in another video, just some of the stuff I've been gathering. So this year, EFG, right? E field goal percentage. And what this means is it just balances out the 2s versus the 3s. Because obviously, 40% from 3 is going to give you more points, all else being equal, than 50% from 2. So it kind of balances out the 2-point shooters, the 3-point shooters. So just so you know, efficiency, so that field goal percentage, efficiency field goal percentage with and without Caitlin Clark. Aaliyah Boston, 54.8%. With Caitlin, 42.3% without, 12.5% difference. Melissa Smith, 51.2% with Caitlin Clark, only 40% without, 11.2% difference. Erica Wheeler, 48% EFG without Caitlin Clark. That's pretty darn good. It drops to 38.6% without Caitlin Clark. Did I say without the first time? I'm sorry, that 48% was with, if I misspoke there. 9.4% difference. And also, she hasn't played in a while, but Temmie's was pretty different too. 56.2% with Caitlin and only 50% without. 6.2% difference. Like I've been saying, Caitlin Clark makes her team better. That is one of the biggest differentiators between a player like Caitlin Clark, the type of player that there are a lot of great players. I shouldn't say a lot, but you know what I mean. There are a lot of great players relative to the great players that really make their team better just by being on the court. Not just how their individual greatness, but how they elevate the play of everyone else. But I'm going to leave it there. I mean, I said a lot of stuff I didn't cover in the last Geno video, so I feel like it wasn't really a repeat, but I definitely wanted to get into this again after I'm seeing it being passed around, and so much has happened with Caitlin Clark since that it actually makes Geno look that much worse than it did the first time we touched on this stuff. And this wasn't even getting to his insane, irrational, insulting hatred of Caitlin Clark's fans. I'm going to leave it there. Thanks so much for checking out this video. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. Let me know your thoughts on the amazing, the wonderful, the compassionate and tolerant, not at all hateful and delusional Geno Auriemma in the comments, and I will talk to you later.